Welcome to the Reveal It All podcast, where we are celebrating strength and the power of shared stories. I am your host, Victorious23. In my 20s, I beat breast cancer twice. And in this space, I am breaking down the barriers and getting so real about women's health. We'll be diving into conversations about survivorship, mental health, and self-care, along with tips on looking and feeling your best because, babe, you are lethal. It's all about learning to stride in your thrive. Together, by sharing our experiences, we grow stronger and more resilient. So let's reveal it all and strive together. Welcome back to another episode of the Reveal It All podcast. It's your host, Victorious23, aka As Told by Laura on Instagram. And I am so excited that you are back for another episode in my 23 Moments of Wellness series. In this series, I'm breaking down all the gems, all the jewels, all the hacks that I personally feel have been truly influential in my recovery, in my healing journey, in my survivorship as Victorious23. Today's topic is actually quite close to me. If you've been tuned in since season 1, you know that I often share a few things that I would repeat to myself to keep me very sane, very grounded, and not lose sight of who I was in the process as I was going through some of the most difficult times in my 20s. And that was that cancer is not the main character. My diagnosis is not the main character, and that I am the main character. No one could have ever told me or prepped me for the life lessons that I've learned in the past 5 to 10 years. Just one, adulting, okay, getting out of the 20 loop and getting to the 30 loop. Two completely different things. We live two completely different lives, as JT would say, okay? 20-year-old me and 30-year-old me, even though I'm new to this chapter, there has been so much growth. And along with my health journey, it has really kind of troubleshoot a lot of things that I feel maybe later on in adulthood, many people will recognize. But there were definitely practices that I had to implement during my journey that I now look upon and realize how powerful they really were. Today's topic is so close to my heart because it's definitely something that I now intentionally do every single day to make sure that I am a grounded individual. You know, there's always that moment that happens where you have to remind yourself who the heck you are. And what may seem so little, like repeating some words that you wrote down on a Post-it note over and over and over again, as I reflect on my survivorship, as I reflect on the journey, and as I reflect on who I am now, I was actually practicing something very powerful, the practice of affirmations and rituals. Wellness isn't just about the big gestures of booking a spa day or going on a retreat, taking a vacation. It's all about the small intentional moments that we create every single day to show ourselves love and care. Affirmations and rituals are foundational for this because they remind us that wellness starts from within. It starts from you, babe. It's all within you already. We just need to bring it out to remind you of who you are. These practices that I am sharing in this wellness journey gave me the space to reflect, to heal, and to reconnect with my best and highest self. How about that? Not just my best self, but my highest self. They taught me that self-love isn't selfish, it's very much necessary. I also learned that when we prioritize ourselves, we're better equipped to handle life's challenges no matter what it throws at us. We're able to also support others and thrive in every area of our lives. all when we prioritize ourselves and speak life into ourselves. So if you're listening and you've been feeling disconnected, overwhelmed, or unsure of where to start on your wellness journey, start here. I want to take a moment to talk about affirmations and rituals in this episode, how important they are, how they help to ground me. But I also want to speak on how affirmations and rituals aren't just about grounding, but they also are about creating a space safe to nurture your self love and self care. Trust me, it all adds up. This episode is for anyone who feels like life is getting too busy, anyone who's struggling to find peace in their day to day, or anyone who just wants to feel more present and connected. Let's talk about affirmations and rituals. When I was going through treatment, life felt like it wasn't my own. Between hospital visits, bed rest, and the emotional weight of everything, it was easy to feel like I was losing myself. I didn't even have the energy to do the things I used to enjoy, and my confidence for sure took a hit. I'm talking about a hit. But then these small daily practices that I'm going to share in this episode, affirming my worth and creating rituals that really centered me as the main character and not the diagnosis, completely helped me to rebuild. They reminded me that even in my most vulnerable moments, I deserved love and I deserved to be cared for, and I actually care about myself. For example, repeating affirmations like, I am worthy of the top care and I am worthy of rest, wasn't just about feeling better in the moment. It was about retraining my mind to prioritize myself guilt free. Creating rituals like lighting a candle before bed, saying my prayer, giving 5 minutes of meditation and peace before I even open up my phone. These are all things that I definitely noticed created peace in my day. And on the days that I wasn't practicing my rituals, those are the days I can remember feeling totally overwhelmed, totally without, feeling totally helpless, and not remembering my strength. So these aren't just acts of grounding, but they also act as a form of self-love and self-care. Let's talk about the power of affirmations. I know anyone who is tapped into the wellness world and is trying to become their best self, you've heard of the practice of affirmations before. But what are they really? I'd like to read off the definition of affirmations just so we're all on the same page, and we'll continue with the conversation here. An affirmation is a positive statement that you say to yourself to shift your mindset and energy. Now, let me be so honest with y'all, my listeners, my besties. When I first started using affirmations, this was years ago. This was prior to my health journey. This was, again, me just exploring the world of wellness and becoming my best self yet. When I first started using affirmations, I did not believe a lick of what I was saying. I didn't believe half of the things that I was saying. I went onto Pinterest, I typed in list of morning affirmations, got a list, and just started reading them off out loud. Like, for example, I am thriving. Girl, no. I am currently tired, exhausted, and need a meal. But over time, I learned that affirmations work because they plant seeds into your mind. The more you say them, the more your mind starts to believe them. And it's not something that you have to overthink also. Start with something simple and repeat it daily. Even if you feel silly at first, which you will. Trust me, speaking life into yourself is very powerful and it works. Now, those that know me and know the house that I've been raised in, you know that we are a faith-based, God-fearing family. And I have always been raised to believe in speaking life into myself. Now, if you've been tuned in since season 1, you will recall that one of the mantras I often always spoke into myself was to not let the diagnosis be the main character, which is really a pivot for you to observe that you are the main character, not the diagnosis. You are big, bad, and strong as heck. You have gone through hard things before, my darling. Guess what? You're going to get through another hard thing as you did before. Because when has God ever failed you? Never. God is very, very faithful. We have many examples of that. For any of my faith-based listeners, we know this. I can definitely share some scriptures that have helped guide me in reminding myself of who in the world I am, especially as a child of God, the Alpha, the Creator. Like, if I am a child of the utmost high, there is literally nothing that can touch me and defeat me. God has already won. So when you start to stand on business and remind yourself who you are and you speak that life into who you are, and you start to actually believe, not just what you're saying, but believe. You get me? I'm going to leave some amazing mantras. Now, these are some mantras that I'm going to share with my besties on this episode that have seriously helped me in the past month, y'all. Shout out to ChatGPT for definitely helping me with the prompt. But just a few weeks ago, I had a very uncomfortable interaction, and I had to remind myself who I was. I'm going to leave the episode with 12 amazing mantras that I even sent out to every single one of my friends who I connected with that weekend. It very much seemed like we all needed grounding after the weekend we experienced. I'm going to run through these 12 mantras. Please take what you need. Number 1, I'm done carrying what doesn't lift me. My peace is top priority. Number 2, I'm here for what fuels me. Anything else, I'm leaving behind. Number 3, I release the past and hold space for what feels right now. Number 4, my energy isn't up for grabs. I'm investing in things that actually matter. Number 5, I let go of old weights, making room for new wins. Number 6, I'm building my life on purpose, leaving behind anything that doesn't fit the vision, baby. Number 7, I'm done replaying old stories. I am writing a new one that feels like freedom. Number 8, my boundaries aren't just rules, they're my power and protection. Number 9, I don't have to hold on to anyone or anything that disrupts my peace. 10, I'm living fully in the present, letting go of what doesn't vibe with my growth. 11, I owe it to myself to keep my space clear of anything that feels off. And 12, I'm pouring my energy into my own joy. Nothing that drains me deserves a place here. Boom, 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 boom. If you ever need a reminder to fix your crown, baby, I let go of old weights, making room for new wins. I build my life on purpose, leaving behind anything that doesn't fit the vision. I'm done replaying old stories, honey. Nothing that drains me deserves a place here. Y'all, I was shouting very much, as you can tell, even in the inflection of my voice. I was shouting when I read these mantras out loud to myself, a shout of joy, a shout of liberation, a shout again reminding me who you are. You create boundaries because that is your protection. You are creating peace. Take what you need, share the rest. I got another gem in this episode. We're going to move into rituals. Now, let's talk about rituals. When I say rituals, I don't mean anything complicated, y'all. A ritual can be as simple as washing your face at night and thanking yourself for taking care of your skin. Okay? For me, rituals become, again, another safe place for me to connect and really align with my mind, my body, and my soul. Now, during treatment, I couldn't control too much, okay? We couldn't control too much. But what I could control was how I started and how I ended my day. In the morning, I would take 5 minutes to journal. I would take 5 minutes to pray. Sometimes just one line of what I was grateful for also was all that I could even commit to in my journaling in that 5 minutes. And at night, I would light a candle, create the ambiance, say a prayer. I would remind myself of who I was, what I was thankful for, and what I did my best that day. Just repeating this practice is a powerful way to create a space of wellness and health for yourself. I'm going to share some additional examples that you might want to try and explore that might inspire you. Maybe you could try a morning routine with stretches, meditation, or even just drinking water mindfully. Maybe you could try an evening skincare routine that doubles as like a self-love routine. Or maybe you could try a weekly reset ritual that looks like cleansing your space, doing your laundry, and setting intentions for the week ahead. Again, rituals don't need to be perfect and they don't need to be complicated. The goal is to create habits that make you feel grounded and cared for, even when life gets chaotic. And what I will share again with having a ritual and with it being a great tool in your wellness journey is when things, again, are out of our control and we just feel like the world has really been whooping my behind lately. There's something about just grounding yourself in the things that you love doing, committing to at least doing one thing a day that you love doing to completely recalibrate the day's chaos. Before we wrap up this episode, you didn't think I was going to just leave you without any support. I got your back like chiroprac. I am going to help you to start your very own grounding routine. So, how do you get started? I know it could feel overwhelming to think about another thing to add into your day today, but let's start small. Choose one ritual and one affirmation to practice this week. For example, let's say you want to feel more confident. You could start your day with an affirmation stating, I am capable of handling anything that comes my way. Say it in the mirror, write it down, or even record yourself saying it, extra brownie points, and listen to it back. For a ritual, try something simple like ending your day with a gratitude list. List maybe just 3 things that you're thankful for. You'll surprise yourself at how these small shifts can create big changes over time. And to wrap up this episode, I just wanted to remind you, bestie, that grounding yourself is an act of love. It's an act of self-care, one that reminds you of your power, one that reminds you of your worth. So take a deep breath, say your affirmation, and start your ritual. Remember, wellness doesn't have to be complicated. It's all about showing up for yourself in the small moments. Here's a little homework this episode. I want you to reflect on this. What's one way you can show yourself love and care this week? Maybe it's starting your day with an affirmation or carving out 10 minutes for a calming ritual. Whatever it is, Make that space for yourself because you, my darling, are worth it. Let me know how it goes. DM me on Instagram, share your journey with me because I want to celebrate your wins just as much as I'm celebrating my own. You've got this, and I'm here cheering you on every step of the way. Don't forget to follow and subscribe the podcast for more wellness tips and real talk. If you're loving this series, share it with a friend who could use some grounding energy in their life. We're almost at the end of the year, and I'm pretty sure everybody could use some of this. And for those who want to partner with me or sponsor an episode, hit me up at revealitallpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, stay grounded and keep thriving.